Use my link in the description below to save 10% at discgolfdealsusa.com or go to discgolfdealsusa.com/icebergtv.
Hey guys, Dylan here from Iceberg TV. Today we're checking out two very exciting drops from Axiom Discs. Got the brand new Total Eclipse Envy, Total Eclipse Proxy. We're going to be comparing them to the Silva Proxy and then this factory second Envy. So yeah, we're going to check these out today. I'm pretty excited to see how the Silva compares to the Total Eclipse. I've been bagging the Total Eclipse Proxy for a few days now and I've really been enjoying it. In my experience, the Silva Proxies are the most stable run of proxy that I've ever thrown. It's honestly not even close. So let's see how this Total Eclipse Proxy compares to that Silva. That's kind of a smash. Pretty similar in stability, a nice little comeback at the end of the flight. And this is the Glow Factory Second Envy. We'll compare that to the Total Eclipse one. That guy's always been pretty darn stable. Envies, they go nice and far. They're nice and controllable. Nice and overstable, I would say. And this is the Total Eclipse one. I'll try and hit it on a similar line. Pretty much the exact same shot. And the exact same flight. Very stable run of Envies. Let's go grab them and throw them a few more times. So the Silva Saanen Proxies are a bit too soft in the hand for me. I do actually really like the overstable flight path it has in comparison to most proxies. Any neutron or electron proxy, I'm able to get to go super duper straight, basically through its entire flight. But with the Silva, I love how it's got a bit more bite at the end of the flight. It's almost like the Envy of proxies, if that makes sense to you guys. But it's a little too soft, and I find myself like just getting funky releases on it because my thumb presses a little deeper into the disc than I'm used to. Just a little bit too soft for me from a feel in hand perspective. So that Total Eclipse one coming in much stiffer, much less gummy, but with that same stability as the Silva, that is the perfect stable run of proxy for me. And I threw some of the best shots I've ever thrown with any proxy with that specific one over the last few days of throwing it. All right, first initial thoughts, super impressed with everything. I'm actually really liking the Total Eclipse Proxy more than the Glow Proxy with the skull stamp on it that I've been throwing for at least like 6 months now. And I always loved the flight of these Silva Proxies, but it was just, they're just really, like they are stiffer on the rim, but on the flight, I guess, yeah, flight plate, they're just very gummy. And my thumb presses too, like, deep into it when I'm applying pressure and just kind of gets a little floppy in my hand. And for whatever reason, that causes me to throw it out like that way instead of like straight. So this guy being a lot more stiff all around gives me a ton more confidence when throwing it. But let's throw them both flat and see what kind of flight we get here. We'll go Silva, then Total Eclipse Proxies. So that was like a very small amount of hyzer. But you can see nothing like the Electron Proxy, not flipping up, not standing up as they say, not getting any turn on a hyzer flip. Let's try and throw this one on that slight hyzer and see what it does. I will say a little bit of stand up on that shot. So getting not quite the full amount of stability as the Silva, but pretty darn close. And now with these Envies, this is a very different story. These guys, let's try them on a little bit of small amount of flex and see if the new Total Eclipse has that famous Glow Envy stability to actually fight back to the left at the end. I mean, that's exactly what you expect from any Glow Envy. And these look nice, they feel nice, but do they have that same O2 type flight as that other Glow one does? Oh yeah. Maybe a touch more nose up. That Glow Envy feels really nice as well. I might have to bag the Total Eclipse Proxy and Envy and then maybe take my other stable putter out of my bag, because those are both really nice. So I haven't even done this for myself yet. We got Proxy on the right, Envy on the left. Let's see what the side profiles are looking like. Looking extremely similar in many ways. And that's a very cool thing that MVP was able to do with these two molds. Apparently they have the same outer rim, but different cores, and somehow the different cores able to achieve very different flight paths. The Proxy being much more neutral, much more straight, much more workable, and these Envies are just reliably stable. And that's part of the reason why I think these could be such a good 1-2 punch for me and in my bag, because they feel the same in the hand. The rim feels the exact same to me in my hand, even though maybe there are some minute differences there. But you get that same confident feel that you're used to time and time again. I don't get that feeling with the Silva. Did not love the feel of the Silva. But these new Total Eclipses, absolutely love the feel of these. So let's give everything one last set of throws. Let's put the Proxies on a little bit of Anheuser here, or at least as much as I can at the moment. Starting off with the Silva here. That is absolutely smushed. I don't think I've ever put a putter on top of the hill, although we do have a tail left to right coming over right now, which will help these carry farther than usual. Now the Total Eclipse. That's essentially full power throws for me. Let's give the Total Eclipse Envy one last throw. Let's try and hit it on as much Anheuser as I can muster here. Still struggling with some of the Annie throws, but let's see what we can do. Look at it flex. Although I yanked it over to the right, even on a pretty hard Anheuser line, finding flat and then pushing forward at the end. Very good feeling. Stiff, but not crazy stiff, and stable run of Envy. Super great. Well, all right, this video might make an Envy thrower out of me officially after all. Nice, super stable run of Envy. Really enjoying that just very similar feel in hand, but then completely different flight characteristics from the Proxy to the Envy. And I think this makes a really great case for me right now to bag them both. I keep switching my throwing putters out because I'm just not 100% in love with what I've been throwing. But I think those in combination with my Fission Proxy for a little flippier than the Glow, and then my Prodigy PA5, which I've also been bagging for the super flip. And you don't always need the super flip, but I might be signing up for a tournament this weekend, and that tournament does require, as long as I don't know beforehand, a couple of super flip discs in the bag. So anyway, 10% off any of the discs you saw in today's video. Stay humble, live with gratitude. Use the link in the description below to save money, and take care.